Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to have a little bit of story time in regards to visiting a child in the hospital and if it's something that you should do. So they tell you in class that when you're fostering children that there's going to be one instance where it sticks with you for whatever reason it is. And there's all sorts of different reasons. And in terms of, whether it's somebody that you really attach to or it's a really severe case, you feel like you're taking care of the child, whatever it is, there's always going to be that one child or children placement that you're like, you know what, I'm going to remember this forever. For ours, I'll never forget it. We had a placement, we had the 51A scare, which I'll leave a link up to the video. You can check it out if you haven't already. And we were going to take a break. And it's always funny because, you say, oh, you know what, we're going to take a little time off and we're going to travel or just relax, whatever it is. So we got an email. There was this child, he recently been admitted to the ER and, were we interested? And initially we were like, you know what, no, we're going to take some time off. We really need to focus on us. And, that's kind of where we left it. But then my wife and I talked about it and we're like, you know what? It's kind of sad that the child's in the hospital and no one's with him. So we're like, hey, you know what? We should probably go and visit him and just kind of, bring him a toy and spend a little time with him, make his day a little bit better. And it's funny because when we decided that, it was at exactly the same time where we were saying we're going to take some time off. So we figured we'll go visit the child in the hospital and spend a little time and, have a good Saturday. Well, as I say, that is the story, and then the rest is history. We ended up fostering that child for over 9 months. Part of the reason was that, we connected with him so quickly. I'm not going to go into details in regards to the actual case because he is reunified with his parents. We have a great relationship with them. And it's just not really relevant to this topic, because the point of this topic is, should you visit a child in the hospital or should you wait until, you get the call that they've been released and then you can take them into your home? And I have to say that visiting them in the hospital was one of the greatest things. And even saying it now, I'm smiling because I just think back of, hanging out with him in the children's wing and playing with toys and watching the helicopters land and just doing all these fun things. And the reason that this was so important was because we had thought that we were going to take some time off. And like I said, there were other plans. And we're so glad that we didn't take that time off. And we're so glad that we said yes to that email. And I think by visiting him in the hospital, obviously it did good things for him because he got to spend time and have fun and we got to eat and play and all this good stuff. But we also got to see that when you get a call or you get an email and they tell you what's happened, you immediately think the worst. And unless you put eyes on them or unless you have somebody that can tell you exactly what's going on, you may make a snap decision on one side or the other. So you may take a child that has really advanced needs and you're not prepared for it, and now you're scared and you don't want to send the child back because, you're human after all. So you really wonder if you should take that placement. And I have to say, visiting a child in the hospital, I think, is one of the greatest things that you can do if you're given the opportunity, because it helps them and it also helps you realize that, here's the reality of what's happening and, I can help this child. So if you're visiting a child in the hospital, obviously their age is going to be a factor with, what you're going to do and what you're going to bring. If it's a toddler, like in our case, you want to bring some fun little toys and maybe some games. Check in with the hospital and see if they have any sort of a playroom or something that you can just kind of enjoy and entertain. You want to be careful. You want to know why they're in the hospital because obviously if they have some sort of an injury, you want to be known, you want that to be known so that you don't, of course, cause any issues. But I think it also looks good to the agency, or in this case, you look good to the agency. And I'm not saying for brownie points, it's just they have somebody that can go and visit with that child and stay with that child. And we actually visited him 2 times over a weekend. And then he came and lived with us later that week, like I said, for actually I think it was over 10 months. I said 9 originally, but I think it was closer to 10 months. But another thing that we learned while we were there is we got to meet with his doctors and his nurse staff so that when we actually ended up taking him as a placement and he needed to go for follow-ups, we kind of already had a relationship with those people. He was the talk of the hospital, and that is here nor there, but he's just a really happy, fun kid, and everyone loved being around him. But you already had a relationship with the people that were working with him, so you kind of were up to speed on everything that's going on. When you go for follow-ups, it worked out really well for everybody involved. It got to the point where, the agencies will bring them to different doctor's appointments if you ask them to. But I loved going because it was so much fun. He was like a little mini celebrity. We would walk in and all the nurses would see him and, see how he's doing, and everything was great. And, he wasn't in there for any really advanced needs or anything like that. It was just, he's a child and things happened and they want to make sure that he's well. And what it also did is it helped us learn how you navigate the medical system in regards to when you're working with an agency what services are available, what your role is in working with those services, and at the end of the day, how you can be the best advocate for that child. So I'm curious, would you visit a child in the hospital that you were, even if you weren't thinking of fostering them, you heard that they were in the hospital, would you go visit them? I'm curious what you think. Leave your answer in the comments below, and yeah, let me know if this is something that you would do. So today's topic was a quick one. Let me know if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Subscribe if you're new here, and I'll catch you in the next video.